What's going on? Just want to welcome you to another edition of What's on Your Mind? Let's talk. Yeah, so in this episode right here, man, we're going to be talking about, or I'm going to be talking about, being humble. So many times in our lives, man, we tend to not be humble. I think being humble and having some type of patience plays a major part in where you're going and what your goals are and what you're shooting for. At some point in my life, I was arrogant. Sometimes things happen to turn you around. So we're going to get into it on What's on Your Mind. Let's talk. Yeah. So I'm here and I'm back again, y'all. Showing y'all some love and, man, thanking y'all for supporting the podcast and being a part of it. Thank y'all for all your input. Thank y'all for those people who following me. A lot of people came to me this past week and was like, yo, man, I've been following your podcast. I appreciate that. I appreciate it so much. But one of the things I want to ask you all, look, man, if you following me, man, subscribe, friend. Subscribe. Let's get these numbers up. But one of the things, on a more serious note, what I really want to talk about, man, is patience. We all got to have patience. I think at some time, in some point in our lives, patience and being humble are two of the major things that we need in our lives. At one point in my life, I was just as arrogant as I could be. A lot of people didn't even really dig me because I was arrogant. It happens. It's a part of life. I think when you come from nothing and you start to gain something, you start to feel better about yourself. You start to want more for yourself. You start to feel like you're better than where you came from. And can't none of you tell me that you ain't never been there and you ain't never did it. Because I know deep down inside that you know that it's the truth. We all been there and we all did it. But it's okay. Because at some point in our lives, we have turning points and we have things to learn from. We have hardships. We have heartbreaks. Those are the things that build us and make us who we are. Now, some people are arrogant and it can be detrimental. The arrogance that I had was basically, I came from nothing to something. I was a quiet kid in school and I was kind of a nerd, I was a straight A student. Didn't do a lot of talking to anybody. Just did what I did. I got picked on as a kid, as a very young kid. But one summer, I had to fall back a little bit. I can't leave the acne out. I had acne all over my face, bumps everywhere, zits. That's what we used to call them back then. But I had these bumps all in my face. I had situations where people would want to jump on me after school. I had to hurry up and get myself home before I got caught in a situation because I didn't really have many friends at that time. And, being a child, those things happen. We used to be able to walk to school back then. You probably can't do that now. It's kind of dangerous out here. But back then, we used to walk to school, walk home in groups. Some of y'all remember that. Some of y'all will never get to see that. Those are good times. But back to the thing about being arrogant. But one summer, I blossomed. I started making moves, started doing different things, man. Started just kind of started becoming more interested in girls and was kind of liking some girls in the neighborhood. Neighborhood girls, y'all never really gave me a chance, but it's okay. It's okay. Because it pushed me outside of my comfort zone and it made me go venture out into the world and and explore and do some things. I'm not gonna go into what I started to explore in as far as what I was doing in the world because those that know they know. If you know, you know. But my confidence level started to grow. As that confidence level starts to grow, you start to feel yourself. You start to poke your chest out. My face was clearing up. I started going to the barbershop, get a fresh cut every week. I don't see that today. People's hair everywhere. But that is what it is. That's the new thing. That's what y'all do. Us OGs like to be tight, like to be neat, beards tight, head tight, clothes tight, cap tight. That's what we do. But I started to dress. I started to carry myself different. The women and back then the girls started to like me. I was moving fast to get to nowhere, but I was moving fast because it's something that I wasn't used to. It's something that I had never seen before, and it made me feel good inside. Wasn't nobody picking on me anymore. I became kind of popular. So that arrogance, whether we realize it or not, was a bit of confidence. See, but it gets out of hand. And then that's where you need to be humble. As I started to grow up and started making moves in the street, started venturing out in the street, that arrogance got a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger. Those that know. Because now I'm able to be the man in certain areas and certain things that I'm doing. And I became kind of popular. I always worked, I always hustled hard. So I was able to have nice things as I started to come on up. Father left me pretty decent, left my family pretty decent. So we didn't really want for a lot. I mean, we all had hard times, but it was a way to make a way. It was a way to be able to do better. And I made sure that we did better. That's what made me arrogant. Because I had it. I had it. And at the time, I had it all. To me, I had it all. Now, in this world, the devil give you everything that you want. Everything. Cars, jewelry, women, clothes, houses, all the material things, the friendships, the relationships, your clique, or your crew that you hang with. He'll give it all to you. Make you a superstar. Put you on top of the world. Being there, did that. But later on in life, as I started to get a little older, life started making turns. Things started happening. I seen deaths that shouldn't have happened for unprecedented reasons. I mean, things that happened that just was out of the norm for me. At this point now, I'm not that little innocent boy anymore. I'm living a grown man's life. And I'm living it to my fullest. Making money, in the street, working a job, got all kind of women everywhere, got the nicest cars, the nicest clothes, all the jewelry I want. But the fallback comes. And when it comes, you have to be ready for it. See, I spoke about patience earlier. And the reason I spoke about patience, because you go and you rush and you live life and you're in a hurry. You rush your childhood for adulthood. You want to be grown before your time. You want to do things. You don't want to listen to your mom or you don't want to listen to the OGs or the elders that's trying to tell you something. that's trying to keep you from going where they been. Well, I was able to go where they had been. I was able to indulge in some of the things they indulged in. But the turnaround, I keep coming back to the turnaround. See, the turnaround is the part where you become humble. Going back and forth to court, running the streets, still in the street, going back and forth to court, getting caught up. Police running up on me every opportunity they could get. Still in the street. Because now I'm arrogant. Because I feel like I'm unstoppable. I'm invincible. I can do whatever I want to do. I work a full-time job at the same time, but I'm going to do whatever I want to do. Can't nobody tell me nothing. I got money. I can pay the bills. I don't have to worry about anything. You think the rappers live good? Boy, we live good back then. You understand what I'm saying? Now, but as age starts to come, time starts to click, life starts to happen. You start to face things that you ain't ever seen before. Like I said, deaths that you never thought would have happened. Situations that you feel like aren't real. You start questioning things. You start trying to figure out, why am I in this situation? Or how did I get in this situation? Again, I say patience. Because if I was patient and would have took my time to get to where I was trying to get to, I would have never had to go through none of that stuff. If I wasn't Mr. Arrogant, God would have never had to humble me the way that he has. You know, humbling comes in stages. At least for me, it has come in stages. I can't speak for the world, but I can speak for me. I can speak for my relationship with God. I can speak for how he has dealt with me in my life and how he's dealt with the things I've done and the decisions that I've made and the choices that I've picked. You know, life can be like a game show. Door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. Which one are you going to pick? Make the choice. You got this much time. And we're in a hurry to pick that door so we can flourish. But I found out now at the age of 49, about to be 50, I was running fast all them years to get to where, you know, God has humbled me in the last few years in so many ways. So many ways. You know, I said it in one of my early podcasts when I first started out. You know, I fought cancer. He delivered me from that. I've dealt with relationship issues. He's delivered me from that. I dealt with financial issues. He's delivered me from that. And I feel as if I went through those things, and I should be able to share those things to help somebody else. Don't be arrogant. Don't be arrogant. See, there's nothing wrong with being humble. I didn't say be a pushover. I said humble. Be thankful for where you are. Be thankful for what you have right now. You know, because if you're not thankful for what you have at the moment, how is it that you're going to be thankful for what you got coming? For that next reward, for that next step. My arrogance was huge. For those of you who may not know, but for those of you all who know, I was arrogant. I'm probably the humblest brother that you will ever meet today. But I still say I am not a pushover and won't be pushed. But life deals the cards and they fall the way they fall. It's your hand, but how are you going to play it? That's one of the things that I find to be important, because at this point in my life, reaching 50, I've reached A lot of my friends didn't make it this far. A lot of them didn't have the opportunity to see this age. A lot of them didn't have the opportunity to see 40s or 30s because they were gone when we were kids. You know, when you're in your teens and when you first hit your 20s, you feel as if, oh, I'm grown. Nah, you're still a child. I don't care how big of a gun you tote, how many times you're going to bust off, how many bodies you got. Until you learn to accept responsibility and be able to hear from God and be able to hear from the elders that's trying to steer you in the right direction, I just don't believe that you're an adult. Now, that's my opinion. We need to be able to make conscious decisions as people. I think we all should be a team, just like in the NFL. We should be able to go in the huddle. If you got 5 or 10 OGs who the quarterbacks that's been through something, that knows something, we shouldn't be arrogant about where we are today. Some of us are successful today because we weren't successful at some other things in our past. Failing teaches you to be successful later. That's why patience has become so important to me. Because when you take your time, you're able to see and you're able to play out your vision just like a movie in front of you on a screen. Now, you take, for instance, every movie that you sit down and watch, you see the finished product. But you have someone in the beginning that wrote this movie. You have people who drew this movie out. They did storyboards to create the scenes. And this is the way life is. We have to be able to figure out where we're going, how we're going, experiment with the product to make sure that it's going to be foolproof, create the product, proof the product, and then before we put it out, it has to be right before the public can see it. Your life is the same way. So, and for those of you all who play video games, man, it takes about 2 to 5 years to create one video game. Yeah. Things take time. And that's why I say that's why the saying patience is a virtue. Because when you're patient, you're able to lay things out and make them happen. Piece by piece by piece. Almost like a puzzle. Now, any of you all that put together a puzzle before know it take a long time to put together a puzzle with all them little teeny pieces everywhere. But you have to orchestrate a strategy. Separate certain pieces by color, by light, dark. And then you start putting, no, I can't leave this out like I do or have done, the edge pieces, all the pieces with the edges. I like to put those together first and then put the inside together. That's just my method. But that's also my method in my life. I had to build a foundation first and then put the pieces together. I had to counsel my arrogance and learn how to be humble. Being humble is a wonderful thing because I appreciate life for what it is. I appreciate time. I appreciate the birds chirping when I walk outside of my house in the mornings on my way to work. I appreciate the sun shining on my face, even though it's been hot. It's been hot. But when I'm out exercising, man, and the sun is on my skin, I like the way that sun feels. I appreciate the fall when the leaves are falling. And I'm thankful for every minute and every second of my life. You know, being humble, I've learned to love people, not just my lady, not just my grandchildren or children, but I love people. I love mankind. You know, there's so much hatred in the world today. But when God starts to humble you and starts to change your heart, man, he'll open up a door where you'll be able to see things in a whole different light, regardless of all the darkness and the things that are going on out here. I've been blessed to be able to be humble I've been blessed to be able to have patience. Patience is a virtue. And being humble is something special as well. It's almost a gift to me because it makes me thankful. It makes me thankful for you all to be able to have the opportunity to talk with you all, to share with you all. And it's a gift to me that you all even listen. You know, time goes by so quickly. Slow down. Slow down. Pump your brakes. Chill out. Don't be in such a hurry to get nowhere. Because time go by so fast. Take your time. Take your time. You know, this podcast, back in 2017, I didn't know how I was going to do this. But I was patient. I took my time. I spoke on an earlier podcast in reference to it and kind of shared that I was disappointed in some people. But you know what? Since that podcast, I've been humbled even more. It wasn't about them. It was about me. It was meant for me not to have any help. It was meant for me to have to sit down and build this on my own. It was meant for me to take that time because it was my vision. And I had to put those pieces together to be able to get the puzzle started. I had to draw out the storyboards for the movie script before I could put out the finished product for you all to see. So, rebuttal, I'll do for the people that I said I feel like they do what they want to do. But sometimes God will put you in an uncomfortable situation to get you to move. And I had to be patient. So it took me time to build. But look what came out of it. That's why I always go back and I always reference what God has done for me and how he has changed me because it's given me the opportunity to be able to do what I do today. Today, I live life slow. I ain't in no hurry. I ain't arrogant. I don't meet a stranger. I enjoy talking to anybody. You know, you'll find when you become humble, some wonderful people out here in the world. White, black, green, orange, it don't matter. I have so many friends and different ethnicities, different races. It's a beautiful thing, man, when you're able to mix with people, man, and be able to share one common goal, man, and that's life. Life is real. Life is good. And for me to be so serious right now, I would like to jokingly say that ain't nothing wrong with being silly. Ain't nothing wrong with having fun. Ain't nothing wrong with mingling, getting to know people. I know today is dangerous out here, but there are activities and people out here that are different from what your norm is. And you can enjoy yourself with different people. You ain't always got to be in the hood, or you ain't always got to be in the street. You know, I used to think the club was something big, but over time, and life starts kicking, hey, the club ain't where it's at. Catch me in the park somewhere. Catch me in the mountains, man. Let's go white water rafting. Let's do something crazy. That's what I like. Ain't nothing wrong with doing something different, man. Go explore, enjoy life. Life's short. Humble yourself. Get with some people, man, you don't normally get with. There's some good people out here. You know, y'all have discernment. You can see it. If somebody ain't right, you can see it. Pray about it. But 9 times out of 10, man, you can find somebody that's different and be able to, you know, share and get together and hang out, man. You know, I ain't come on here to rant, but I will say this right here before I get off of here. Humble yourselves. Everybody is so arrogant today, so self-centered. and in such a hurry to go nowhere. If you're older than me or if you're younger than me, slow down. Life is short. Don't rush through it. Humble yourself. Love people. Love life. Love the minutes and the seconds, because time goes by fast. And when you're faced with something like I was faced with a few years ago, it's a turning point in your life. You know, I hear people say epiphany. Try that epiphany. When you're told something detrimental or something that is detrimental to your life, that you have it. And now you have to make a decision. And you can't rush it. You got to be patient. And at that point, I had to humble myself more than I ever humbled myself. So I give all thanks to the good Lord up above. I thank him for his grace and mercies. I thank him for humbling me, because now I'm able to love the way that I'm supposed to love, man. Once I became humble, I love totally different. It ain't about sexual love or nothing of that nature. It's about love for humankind, for mankind. It makes me talk to people different. It makes me deal with people different. I used to be a hothead. I'm not a hothead anymore. You know, and there's times when I feel like I might want to blow up. But that humbling part always comes back to me. And I had to think about how blessed I am. You know, life is good, y'all. And get out and do something. Quit being all arrogant. Don't be self-centered. Life is so much sweeter when you're not. I promise you. I promise you. But I will tell you, if you don't make that change, there'll be something that comes, and there'll be something that you'll have to deal with that's going to humble you. I promise. Oh, and remember, be humble. Be humble. Drop that arrogance, man. Smile at somebody. Stop being so self-centered. Yeah. Remember, be humble. Drop that arrogance. Yeah, man. Yeah. Enjoy life, y'all. And catch Bro Will on another episode of What's on Your Mind? Let's talk. Yeah. Hey. Hey, yeah. What's on your mind? Let's talk. Hey. Good night.